Hello everyone, welcome to my channel on brake particle emission. In this channel, you would learn about the harmful effect and upcoming regulations over brake particle emission. Following on from that, today I am going to discuss the Euro 7 legislation and its impact on brake particle emission restrictions. European Council of EU has set some standards for emissions from road transportation including light and heavy duty vehicles which runs through petrol, diesel, hybrid or electricity. Consequently, from 1993 to 2014, it's been a journey of European Commission to set various forms of restrictions and methods to reduce exhaust emission. For example, Euro 1 includes catalytic converter and electronic fuel injection method. Euro 3 incorporates onboard diagnostic, which is an emissions monitoring system. From Euro 4 to 6, they incorporate particulate filter and selective catalytic reduction, which subsequently helps us to reduce exhaust emission. But still, there is a high concern to regulate non-exhaust emission, and for that, Euro 7 legislation has proposed in 2021. To go before more deeper into Euro 7 rules, let's give you a little glance of different emissions around us through vehicles, starting with exhaust emission. Vehicle exhaust emissions consist of the remnants of atmospheric air, carbon dioxide, water vapor, and numerous compounds in either particulate or gaseous form, the majority of which result from the incomplete combustion of fuel. Those that are directly harmful to health can be known as particulate matter, PM, nitrogen oxides, carbon monoxide, sulfur dioxide, various hydrocarbons, volatile organic compounds, and trace metals and nonmetals such as lead and sulfur. But so far, through Euro emission legislations, these exhaust emissions has been controlled throughout Europe in an expectable level, and the issue now arises to have further regulations to control non-exhaust emissions. Non-exhaust emissions are particle emissions released from friction brake wear, the interaction between the tire and road interface, and the resuspension of road dust. Several recent studies reported that the emission of particulate matter from non-exhaust emission is quite higher than exhaust emission, and it is Euro 7 legislation before that the non-exhaust PM emission was ignored. Euro 7 regulation recently added brake particle emission limits and its testing regulation, which is United Nations Global Technical Regulation or UNGTR on brake emissions. In this slide, we will discuss over 3W, starting with the first one. So, why Euro 7 is special or different from earlier rules? The answer is Euro 7 legislation is the first regulatory bindings for non-exhaust emission such as tyre abrasion and brake particle emission, and it also incorporates requirements for battery durability for road traffic, which was proposed in 2021. The brake particle emission, mainly PM10 limits for vehicles up to 3.5 tons, that includes passenger cars and light commercial vehicles like small vans and pickup trucks marked as M1 and N1 vehicles, have been set to 7 milligram per kilometer per vehicle for 2025 and 3 milligram per kilometer per vehicle for 2035 during a standard driving cycle in a standardized test by the United Nations Global Technical Regulation. Now, the goals. As per European Commission Zero Pollution Action Plan 2022, the EU aims to reduce PM-related deaths by 55% within 2030 and achieve zero pollution by 2050. In addition, European Green Deal requires a 90% reduction in total transport-related emissions by 2050. In a study of the impact assessment of European Union Commission, it is expected that by 2050, non-exhaust emissions will contribute up to 90% of all particles emitted by road transport because exhaust particles will diminish due to vehicle electrification. So, to achieve all these timelines, Euro 7 has started its journey towards a green world. Now, the question is from which timeline the Euro 7 legislation is going to be executed. Euro 7 was originally meant to come into force in mid of 2025. However, delays in declining the final regulations means it will apply to newly launched cars for November 2026 and all new cars on sale from November 2027. Here, in this slide, the right side graph clearly showcasing the incremental trend of non-exhaust emission from 2025 to 2050 and the decreasing trend of exhaust emission in the same timeline, which clearly indicates the importance of the Euro 7 Act. Thank you so much, everyone, for being with us in this presentation. And please do subscribe my channel for upcoming more informative videos and presentation session over material science and brake particle emission. See you next time. Bye bye.